Hey everybody, welcome back to Cookie Gaming. Today we are playing more Pentiment. Last time was a really crazy episode. Just about everything came to a head. We wrapped up our investigation. Didn't really go so well. The Duke's soldiers attacked the town, and Andreas died. That's right, our main character died. Honestly, I thought that might be the end of the game, but we've started a new chapter with Magdalene, the daughter of Klaus, a good buddy of Andreas, and now we are playing through her journey. Klaus has unfortunately just been assaulted. An attempted murder appears to be connected to the thread puller, whatever was happening those years ago with Andreas. And now we have to find out what happened and also complete our father's mural. So it's a really interesting new chapter in the game. First of all, we need to write out a letter to Mother Illuminata, who of course Andreas knew but has been gone for years at this point, for some information on the history of the town. Alright, where to begin? Dad told me the last prioress at Kiersau knew something about the old history of Tassing. And this was, of course, something that Andreas was looking into as well, but I don't think we ever really wrapped that up. I mean, there were a lot of things that Andreas didn't manage to wrap up before his untimely demise. He said she became the abbess of a convent in Bologna, Mother Illuminata. Yes, at Santa Margherita. I should write to her. Small town in the Republic of Genoa, along the coast of the Ligurian Sea. Okay. And we've got to build our version of Magdalene, who we've made her sort of a strange character. Smart-ass tinkerer, we could call her. Let's do the full titles. Mother Illuminata, Abbess of Santa Margherita, formerly Prioress of Kiersau Abbey. I'm the daughter of Klaus Drucker, Magdalene. We are printers from Tassing. You were acquainted with my father. He bought many books from the library before that terrible fire consumed the place. Goddamn Peter! I'm writing because my father and I are creating a mural in the Tassing Rathaus. It's going to tell the history of our community and of Kiersau as well. We have only legends and folklore, since of course all of Kiersau's books were destroyed in the fire. And, I've talked about this throughout the series, but, more people could read during this time, but still a lot of people were illiterate, or you could say functionally illiterate, or maybe functionally literate, meaning they can sign their name, maybe read a couple of important tax documents or business documents, but might not be able to read a full book. And so something like a mural was important for telling history, but also even for the people who could read, books were still not super widely accessible. Now that was changing with this printing revolution that Magdalene has been living through and that her father contributed to. But even so, losing this library, which, well, the town sometimes had access to, that's going to be a big blow to everyone's understanding of their common history. I was hoping you could tell us something about the early history of the town, when the Romans were here. If you know anything about the early history of the abbey itself, we would also be glad to hear of it. We'd appreciate any help you could give us, and we hope you are well. Interesting. My father always spoke highly of you, especially how you cared for the library and its books. And that's something that we definitely knew about Illuminata, right? From our time with Andreas. She definitely cared about those books. God bless you. Magdalene. That's a pretty polite letter. Hopefully Illuminata will respond. Although, I mean, it could take a while to get that letter back. I want to finish the mural before Christmas. I should start planning tomorrow. I should head to bed and get as much rest as I can. Okay, makes sense. I'd like to check on our father before we do that. Looks like he's sleeping. Magdalene. Hey, Dad. How are you feeling? Can I get you anything? No, I'm fine. You go on. Alright, I'll come back and check on you later. Yeah, so Klaus, I mean, it was an attempted murder. Somewhat similar, by the way, to the attempted murder of the Baron Rothvogel. Oh, we can't leave. But Klaus managed to survive, right? That's the difference. And we got another of those purple inked notes. So somehow this is connected to those murders that Andreas dealt with. I mean, at this point, decades ago. We're now in, I wrote it down, 1543, I believe. So about 2 decades after the last chapter. And that was already years after the first time we'd met Andreas. So this is decades in the future. And whoever is behind these murders is still about. Or, I don't know, maybe it's some sort of group. And they're passing down the tradition of orchestrating murders around the town. I don't know. Alright, let's go to sleep. Hope you locked your door tightly. We don't want any more murderers in here. Well, I can't go out, so might as well sleep. Last time we went to sleep, something horrible happened, so let's hope for a more peaceful night's rest. I'm still getting used to this. Hello? What is happening? Oh my goodness. This is different. We just skipped... That's at least 2 weeks? I wasn't paying attention. Oh, interesting. Now, this is different from Andreas. I mean, everything was so sudden, so there was no time to wait for him. But it looks like here, we skipped over quite a few days already, so maybe we'll be doing this a little differently. I was just saying it'd take a while for those letters to come back, or that letter to come back. Well, here we are. Ah, Mistress Druckerin. I have a few letters here addressed to you, from the Reichspostman. Take care now. Thank you, sir. Okay, let's see. Mother Illuminata wrote back to me. I hope her response helps me paint the mural. Hey, there she is. Oh, this is cool. Mistress Druckerin, thank you for your letter. I hope this reply finds you and your father in good health. Not really, but appreciated. I remember you both, as your father would carry you between the rows of our library in its final years. I also remember your late mother and brother, God keep their souls. While we did have some books that discuss Tassing's past, it's likely they were as mythological as what your neighbors believe. That said, I remember one of your peasants, Tillman Kreutzer, read about the history of the town. Yep, old Till. I know he died during the revolt. Jesus Christ. What a disaster. I know I made that point several times in the last episode, but what a disaster. We truly lost a lot of townspeople. Perhaps his family knows some of what he learned. It's also definitely interesting to, be able to basically go through the generations here. I should also say that it's not true that all of Kirsaw's books were destroyed by the fire. Oh, Andreas Mahler managed to save some from the flames. God rest his soul. God rest his soul. Oh, Andreas. That makes me sad. You know, one of you commented down below that your Andreas was not a bookworm, and he still went in to save those books. So I guess that's what he always does. It fit with the way I'd built him, because I'd built this nerdy bookworm. I was still shocked when Andreas decided to give his life, but I mean, who knows, maybe he would have died in the revolt anyway. So it was a tragic way to go. In the aftermath of that terrible night, cataloging and preserving the surviving books was not at the top of any of our minds. Even so, this topic has stirred a memory within me. Several years before the fire, there was a death at Kearsarge, the murder of Baron Rothvogel, the villain. Oh wow, I can't believe it's coming back to this. So, this is something Andreas was searching for, which I referenced earlier. I can't believe it's been decades at this point, and we are still investigating this history. He mentioned something about finding a copy of Historia Tassii, a comprehensive chronicle of your home. I'd forgotten about it until now, because the murder dominated all of our thoughts in the days and weeks that followed. It troubles me now because I recall that the late Father Matthias was also reading a copy of Historia Tassii shortly before he died. Yes, he was. We never accounted for either book's whereabouts. They may have been hidden somewhere in the library and went up with everything else. I mean, this was something, we knew that the prior abbot was interested. Rothvogel, I believe, was trying to gift a copy, or he had some interest in the book, and yet we could never find it. So maybe this mystery will finally be solved. Perhaps Prior Ferenc took it from the Baron after the murder. Right. Ferenc had an interest in books of all sorts, of course, but it seems like an odd thing to do in the moment. Then again, only God knows what he did and why he did it. Yeah. Miklaus Haberle. I remember Miklaus. The Baron's manservant believed it may have been stolen by the town thief, Martin Bauer. Yeah, I mean, Martin did a bit of thieving, but, that Martin is dead, so not like we're ever gonna find out where it went. If Martin's still alive, oh, this is funny. So we could get to go and ask fake Martin, hey Martin, where's the book? He's like, I don't know. I'd ask him if he knows where the book is. Hopefully he didn't trade it for a mug of beer on his way out of Tassing. So we know that's a dead end, but, Magdalene doesn't. If the man has passed from this world, perhaps his family knows where the book wound up. As for the history of the Abbey, I fear that was also lost in the blaze. However, as sacristan, Prior Matthew learned a great deal about the subject. We've never had this word come up before. That's surprising to me. Appointed official in a monastery, responsible for maintaining the sacristy, where vestments and objects used in ceremonies are kept. The sacristan is also often the treasurer. Wow. Wonder if Matthew's still alive. If so, look at him. That's old Matthew, huh? I gotta be checking these character portraits. I have not kept in contact with him, but I know that he is now the Archdeacon of Sion. Oh my god, okay. He's gone up in the world, which makes sense. He was always, seemed a pretty dedicated type. Once a free imperial city of the Holy Roman Empire, Sion became the capital of Valais when the canton joined the Swiss Confederacy following the Swabian War in 1499. Huh. He's no longer a Benedictine, but uses his family name. Faucigny Saw? I don't know how to pronounce that. If you write to him soon, your letter may reach him before the snow covers Valais. Oh, I love it. All these new names. As we just learned, a canton in the Swiss Alps became an associate member of the Swiss Confederation in 1529. It's interesting. I mean, not only are we getting the history of the era, but because the story of this game covers so many decades, it means that we actually get to see history shifting and changing over time, which I really love. I like that they've done it this way. Please convey my best wishes to your father. He was a good friend to the Abbey in its better years. Despite the violence that occurred, I hold no ill will toward anyone from Tassing. I doubt the abbot felt the same way, but I wonder if he's even still alive. Hey, he might be. He was pretty young, right? Yeah, and Klaus, I mean, remember, in the end, Klaus is one of the guys who was like, alright, this has gone too far, we gotta stop. Not that it really saved anybody, but I appreciated that. I pray that you have seen better days since that night, and that God forgives the many errors we made. God bless you as well. Mother Illuminata, Abbess of Santa Margherita. Okay. Oh, Esther wrote to me as well. Hey. Oh, look, she's in her workshop. My dear Magda, my parents were glad to hear from your father, or I guess her parents' workshop. Please tell him they wish to hear from him soon. Speaking of printing, your ink was well received indeed. I've made several prints with it. They look lovely on the wall. Elijah is taken to making his own ink from scraps he found around the house after he saw yours. Mother was furious when he spent several pfennigs trying to find lapis at the market, clearly a currency of some kind. They're out in Prague, was it, if I'm remembering correctly? She sent him scrubbing the floors for it. Took him 3 days. I'm glad you're keeping busy, even though it keeps you from visiting. Father says we'll have room whenever you decide to make an appearance. Well, unfortunately, I think what just happened to Klaus makes my visit less likely. And if you do take over the shop in Tassing, you'll have to make visits to Prague for supplies. Right, Prague. Who knows? Maybe you'll meet someone here. Though the way you talk, it seems like you're a bit preoccupied with suitors in Tassing. Maybe. I've made a good match too. Before the expulsion, there was a handsome man at synagogue, Simud, who caught my eye. His father is a merchant, and he's a doctor. He went to the University of Padua. Can you believe it? I'd quite like to marry him, if I can find him again. She says expulsion, and I mean, I'm not too familiar with every aspect of this history, but she's obviously talking about the expulsion of a Jewish population from the city. I'm not familiar with that one in particular, but around this time, and by this time, well, I really mean a lot of medieval history, but throughout the 15th century, so the century prior to this, you saw the Reconquista in Spain, where the Catholic powers reconquered the Iberian Peninsula. They kicked out or force converted the Muslims and did the same to the Jews, right? So a lot of the Jews were expelled from Spain. The same thing has been happening throughout Europe around this time period. A lot of the Jewish populations in various places have been expelled. A lot of Jewish populations remain in other places, and it's sort of, piecemeal, essentially. But that was not an uncommon thing. Jews very much lived as second-class citizens. Even worse than second-class citizens, I would say, during this time period. In fact, a little interesting factoid is that a lot of the Jews, the Sephardic Jews who were expelled during the Reconquista in Spain, a lot of them actually went to the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire actually was relatively tolerant towards non-Muslim populations, so Christians and Jews, other people of the book, essentially, right? Now, look, you did not have full rights and privileges. You were still living as a second-class citizen, as a non-Muslim in the Ottoman Empire, but your status was a lot, and I mean a lot better than, for example, living as a Jewish person in most Christian kingdoms at this time. Anyway, I think you'd have even better luck than me. The boys would swoon at a beautiful blonde artist from the Alps. I think we've made her sort of a stinging character, so we'll see. Please keep us abreast of your father's mural. We'll have to come see it when it's finished. Blessings, Esther. I'll have to write Esther back tonight. I should head home and check on Dad. Okay. I'll say this section so far has been a lot more sort of linear. I wonder if it's going to open up and we're going to get a chance to sort of explore ourselves. I'm not necessarily opposed to that. It's just a little different than what we had with Andreas. But, maybe it's just we're getting introduced to all of this. It was slightly linear with Andreas at first as well. Hey, Dad, how are you feeling? Ah, Magdalene. Sitting upright is still a struggle, I'm afraid. Yeah, so it's been... I wasn't really paying attention, but it looked like 2 or more weeks, a couple weeks you could say. Klaus is still alive, which is a plus, but not doing any better. I was sort of wondering, you know, the doctor said he might live... I mean, he didn't know exactly. Could be a couple weeks, could be a couple months. It's like, okay, so maybe we'll still have him by the end, but if we're skipping past weeks at a time, I fear we may see the end of Klaus Drucker. The dizziness makes my stomach turn, so I'd rather not eat at the moment. Are you sure? I can bring up something light, like milk or broth. No, I can't stomach anything just yet. Tell me, where are you off to? I need to get started on the first part of the mural today, the old history. Mother Illuminata didn't know much about Tassing's early history, but she did give me a few places to start. Also, I'm just thinking, I wonder how much mystery solving we're actually going to do. Because it seems like so far we're very focused on actually completing this mural, which is sort of the main task, mission we've been given. You know, each sort of section of the game has been about solving a murder. I wonder how much murder solving we're really going to be doing here, or if we're mainly going to be focused on that mural. I guess we'll have to say. Maybe Andreas was just particularly interested in solving murder cases. I don't know. I'm going to ask Blacktill if his grandfather told him any stories. Illuminata said he used to read about the Romans. Yep. I remember old Till always telling us, you know, about the old Romans and pagans. Mother Illuminata, Magdalene. Right, yes, Mother Illuminata. Young Kreutzer has mentioned those tales from time to time. Yes, he comes by to borrow books now and then. Usually when he's found some interesting old ruins out in the fields. You might ask him about that. Ill Peters always harumphed. I can't believe that... He's still alive, right? I feel like we saw that, which is crazy. Or was he? No, I can't remember. Ill Peters always harumphed about how no one paid attention to the old ways anymore, too. Yeah, he is still alive. I can't believe it. This guy's got to be so old at this point. I'm sure he'll have some stories to tell about old Tassing. You might stop to talk to him. But this is like classic, you know, Ill Peter. There's always, you know, you meet some people who seem to be old since you were born, right? That's Magdalene. Ill Peter, he was old as hell when she was a kid. Now she's a full-grown adult, and he is still old as hell. Alright, well, thanks, Dad. Of course, Magda. It's nice to feel useful, even if I'm stuck here in bed. Nonsense. I'm just glad you're awake. You might talk to Smokey, too. The old charcoal burner seems to know more about what's in those woods around town than anyone else. That, and he's a known gossip. He's always been kind to me when I chat with him. I'm certain he'll know something about the ruins. You may hear something worth your while at any rate. I'll go talk to him. What about the ruins or the mines? I can't just use books and stories alone. I want to explore whatever is left over from the Romans and before. Well, Andreas found something really cool, but I'm not sure if anyone knows about it except for him. And Casper. The salt mine and Roman ruins are the oldest parts of Tassing, so it only makes sense to see what they left behind. Ah, you take after your mother. She was always thorough in her research. They always said that's what good artists do, Dad. Be careful, alright? I know the twins mess around near the salt mine, but I don't want you getting hurt. I don't know why Jorg doesn't keep them in line. Always making trouble, those two. I don't think we've talked to Jorg, have we? Or maybe we have. Alright, come on, we gotta be a little spiky, right? At least Artemis actually knows how to read. I don't think Apollo can even spell his name. The boy struggles with his letters, Magdalene. Don't shame him for it. Not everyone is a printer's daughter. Don't forget your other chores while you're running around town, alright? You still have a household to run. I'll get to them, Dad. Good, good. I'd better get going if I want to do all that today. I'll see you later. Good luck, Magdalene. Alright, a lot to do then. I reckon we, go talk to, I was tempted to say Old Till, but he's not Old Till. Young Till. Or Black Till, is that what they call him? Let's go talk to Black Till first. Ah, Otts. Hey, Mags. Got your way with the mural, huh? I didn't expect you to convince the council like that. I didn't expect the town to pick a halfwit like you for the council, so I guess we're all disappointed. Jesus, Mags. I meant it as a compliment. Oh, man. We're playing her a little differently than we played Andreas, huh? The rest of the council has been arguing over the matter for so long, even I couldn't get a word in. Then you came in and shut them up in a few minutes. We could use more women like you in town. Yeah. What do you mean by that? Well, you know, you're headstrong and willing to give your opinion, and damn what anyone else thinks about it. You think so? Well, yeah, I wouldn't tell you that otherwise. You're, an admirable woman. Bros try to flirt. Anyway, standing up to the council like that was great. I know I'm on the council, but sometimes it doesn't seem like I have any influence. Well, that's often how it is. Utz actually seems insecure about his place on the council. You know what? I mean, we've got this sort of banter going, but he seems like a nice enough guy. Maybe I should reassure him. You do, though. You vouched for me to do the mural in the first place. Only after your dad did. I still feel bad about that. I should have stuck up for you. Being the youngest one on the council has been harder than I thought. Well, maybe you'll take after your father, eh? Your dad was, quite the leader, I have to say. Though he also died before his time. Yep, here's the council. I'm glad Paul is still around. I know Baltus and Werner don't think I'm capable, and even Paul has warned me about being too rash. Well, we gotta go see Baltus, because we're a tinkerer as well, but Baltus was a fool back in the day. My dad died trying to make a difference in this town. And we still never found out who did it. I mean, I know I blamed Guy, but I don't think it was Guy, to be honest with you. All I'm trying to do is carry on his legacy, but it seems like the others won't make room for any change. Well, I hate to break it to you, but Werner, the doctor, was not such a big fan of your father. And Thomas, the priest, I mean, he was more sympathetic to the rebellion than the abbot, for example, but he wasn't a big fan either. Keep pushing, Otts. They're stuck in the past. We're looking toward the future of Tassing. Thanks, Mags. Magdalene. It'll take time, but maybe they'll listen to me eventually. Ah, well, better get back to it. See you later, Mags. Otts. I mean, like I said, we've got a sort of banter going. Oh, so many people to talk to. Let's go check in with Till first. We've got that banter going. Maybe he can be an ass, but he seems like a good guy. Hey, Christina. Magda. Ava. Hello, Ava. Magda, darling. Otts isn't here, I'm afraid. That's alright, I can find him later if I need to. I think he wandered off toward the Wrath House. Something about the council, but if you ask me, I think he's looking for you. Okay. I see the direction this is going. Well, that's sweet of him. He's quite fond of you. I'm surprised he has any time to visit, though. He's always working on the town council business these days, and he's still working at mastering carpentry, too. Oh, he's a carpenter. How Christ-like. I suggested a few years ago that he take up an apprenticeship, but he was determined to remain in Tassing. I think he's more comfortable here, even if that means he'll never be the craftsman Otto was. I help him how I can, but there's only so much I know how to do. Besides, I think he feels like he's taking care of me, instead of the other way around. Funny how time does that. I think Dad misses Mom, even after all these years. Do you ever miss Otto? Every day. I see him in the little things Otts does, the way he smiles or how he laughs. I miss my husband, but I'm proud of Otts. He's growing into a capable young man. Yeah, Otto was a good guy. It was a real shame he went out the way he did. He was a good leader. Maybe, I mean, who knows how things would have gone had he survived? Maybe things would have deteriorated and escalated as well. But I just can't help feel that Otto would have had a better handle on the situation than Peter did, for example. And Peter had no handle on the situation. So maybe that isn't saying much, but still. I'm excited to see him grow into a husband and father. He'll make a wonderful partner. Whoever he marries will be a lucky woman. It's about that time to start finding a match too. It's wonderful that God blessed Endris with a wife at last, but I'd rather not have Otts be in his position. Better to marry earlier while he can raise a family. Anyway, I'm sure you have things to do. I'll let you get back to them. Always good to see you, Magda. You too, Ava. So seems like we can potentially go for an Otts-Magdalene relationship, or potentially not. I kind of like Otts, but we'll see. God bless you, Magdalene. God bless you, Till. Do you have a moment? Of course. What do you need? It says you've been obsessed with your painting. I'm looking into the early history of Tassing for the first part of the mural. Mother Illuminata said your grandfather read about the history of the town. Ah, fertile fields that is. Seemed like old potsherds and Latin trivia were all he ever talked about. I mean, he did talk about them a lot. All of Granddad's reading came from the Abbey's library, though, and you know what happened there. Poof, up in smoke. So you don't remember, or so you don't have any of his old books? Only a few. Granddad tried to buy some when the Abbey fell in hard times, but they were too expensive. Right, and that's the point I was making, which is, you know, depending on the Abbey, right? We know that Gournot did not allow access to the library. The previous abbot did, and so that was a real access, that was a real resource to the people of the town, right? And almost like a public library in some ways, which is even more important because books are still very expensive during this time. But I can show you something better than books. Evidence? Something like that. See, we don't have any books on the old pagans, but we do have their stuff. Shards of ceramic pots and animals, bricks from what looks to be an old forge, mountains of salt. Even found a little bear carved from amber. Oh, interesting. Where'd you find all this stuff? It's not just me. Carl find things, Fabian too. Any farmer would tell you the same. Oh, interesting. So you're saying while they're tilling the fields, no pun intended, that they find a lot of these old ancient artifacts, which is true. I mean, when archaeology really kicks off in a professional way, which only happens a few hundred years later, there's a lot of good stuff to be found in just regular people's property. It's all out there in the fields, under the dirt. Can't go one season without turning up something. Where are you keeping all these things? Nowhere. We just toss them into piles with the rest of the rocks and root clumps. Sure, it's interesting, but we can't do much of anything with the stuff except look at it. What do you think it all means? I don't follow. Interesting. What do you think they were like? Huh, I guess I never really thought about it. They seem like regular people. Their remains all look like ours. Tools and weapons are rougher, but not badly made. The little carvings and ceramic critters aren't so different from the things Ava made for us. Huh. I suppose I expected them to be more strange. Because they weren't Christians? Yeah, I mean, look, religion was such an important part of the worldview, as we've seen, that even, reading the history of these old pagans in an honest manner could be somewhat taboo. So to sort of share the thought that, maybe we were pretty similar, that could catch people by surprise. No doubt they were coarse, but they don't seem especially violent, not like the church says. Not so different from today, really. Earlier you mentioned something about salt. Did the pagans start the mine? Had to have, I'd say. Most people think it was a Roman project, but I think the Romans just dug out what was already there. That's why Tassing was so important to the Romans in the first place. Salt. So Tassing wasn't just on the Imperial Road, they made the road come through Tassing. Interesting. So we're learning about the important history of this town. The fact that, I mean, look, everything is somewhat arbitrary, to be honest with you. But at the same time, there are reasons for things happening. And Tassing didn't just happen to be along the Imperial Road. There was a reason that the Romans came here. Do you think there's anything left of the pagans down there? I don't know. But anything they left would have to be better preserved than what we dig out of the fields. Magdalene, tell me you aren't thinking of going down there. What if there's stuff that could help me with the mural? Magdalene! That mine is hundreds of years old. You could break your neck just getting in there. It's worth it for the mural. I want to try my best for Dad. Imagine how your dad would feel if you got hurt. Oh, interesting. So, oh wow. Then help me get down safely, and he won't have to worry. You're bullheaded, just like your mother. And your father. Probably couldn't keep you out of there if I tried. I'm glad we convinced him to help. Please, Till. Alright. Don't know how to get down there myself, but I know those twins have gotten in a time or two. No doubt they have a trick. And Baltus might not be the most reliable man, but I don't doubt he could rig something up for you too. Alright, thank you, Till. Don't mention it. I'm serious, don't. Alright, this has been a big help. Glad to spread some knowledge around, important for folks to know their past. Do you think all this pagan stuff will make it in the mural? I can bring some of the things the boys and I found over to the Wrath House tomorrow, if that'd help. Yeah, that'd be great. I'm glad you're taking an interest, Magdalene. I thought no one cared about the pagans but me and Granddad. I mean, I'm not particularly invested in paganism, but, I'm interested in the history of the town. And that includes the pagan history just as much as the Christian history. I should warn you, if you do head into the forest, keep an eye out for the Lord's men. Oh, they're strict, worse now than they used to be. So, I mean, this was basically what the rebellion was fought over all those years ago, was the ability for townspeople to access the forest. Back then, it was the abbot who was trying to block off access. Now it sounds like the Lord is actually enforcing the woods being blocked off. Until then. Which makes sense. I wonder, I mean, we don't exactly know how everything went, but we do know that there was essentially compromise offered, or concessions offered, which I guess were turned down when Peter went and burned down the damn abbey. Oh, goodness. Young Andreas, Anna, and Elsa. Magdalene, dear. Good day, Magdalene. Hi. How's your father? He's doing better, I think. Not sure. You have my prayers. You'll need them with Werner on the case. Jesus. Anna, do not speak ill of the good doctor. He's doing his best. He's a bitter, washed-up drunkard. Everyone knows it. We all have eyes. Yet we ought to trust and believe in him. It may inspire him to be better. Well, this is very rude, but no offense, Elsa. With that attitude, I can see why you stayed with Lenhart those years. That's bad. But, come on. Your husband was a fucking asshole. Werner is maybe not quite as bad, but pretty similar. I'm not sure believing in him. Yeah, hasn't he had enough time to become better? We're all always growing and becoming more... as people, Magdalene. Tell that to whoever he gets killed with his incompetence. No matter. I'm just glad to be sitting down for a moment. I'm so tired. Andreas and Ulrich can wear down even the most vigorous person. Not even young Otts could keep up with these two. The blessing and the curse of small children. Huh. Mom! Ulrich, is she alright? Oh yes, she wanted to run off and hide so I could find her. After I've caught my breath for a moment. I don't think she appreciates me taking this long. You're not playing along, Andreas? Hiding like your sister? No. This young man won't lose sight of his mom. He's a mama's boy. Say, Magdalene, could you perhaps go find Ulrika in my stead? Yeah, right. Wonderful. She's somewhere in town, although I'm not sure where by now. She ran up the street toward the bakery. I imagine you can find her by the giggling. I'll be off then. Alright, looks like we're doing the rounds. We get a chance to talk to everybody, many of them for the first time. Hello, Magdalene. How's Klaus? Rezi and I are very worried. Alive, and that's what matters. Did you discover who attacked him? No. Whoever it was, they left no sign. Well, we had the... There's the purple note. A terrible crime. Terrible. But I don't know if Magdalene sort of put two and two together there. Andreas would have known that it was connected to the murder, but I'm not sure if Magdalene does. May God look after you both. We've had enough tragedy in this town. Has Gertrude been by to see him? I trust her over that doctor. He's not reliable. He's the most bitter man I've ever met. And he only gets worse as the years go on. He used to talk about how he was too good for Tassing, destined for greater things. Right. Still here, though. And that's how you become bitter over time, right? And yeah, Werner, same with Lenhart. You know, Lenhart did not survive to see it, but both of them always talked about how much better they were than the people here. And I guess Lenhart was pretty satisfied with his position at the top of the social hierarchy, of the town at least, or close to the top. But yeah, Werner, the doctor, wanted to go and do big things, and it's been decades and he hasn't. That's how you create an old bitter person. Why is he on the council? Whatever his faults, he's still an educated man. That counts for something, I guess. How's that fair? It says the Lord has ordained. I hope. But I shouldn't gossip. If there's anything Rezi and I can do for you, let us know. I will. Thanks for your kindness, Andres. It's nothing. I owe your father more than I can say. Take care, Magdalene. Alright, let's, we gotta go talk. Oh, we've seen Jorg. What am I saying? Yeah, we've seen Jorg. Magdalene. How are the hinges on your doors? Fine, I guess. Huh. Maybe Andres should take a look at them. I would have asked your father, but, well. Anyway, you wouldn't believe how many people in this town leave their hinges to rust. Really, Jorg, if you want an excuse to stoop in people's homes, just invite yourself over for supper. It's not. The council is looking after the town. Paul would like to institute a yearly check of all homes in Tassing. What do you think of that idea? Well, it's not a bad thing. I don't see why we need to make it official. Everyone in Tassing helps each other. As I see it, if someone notices a house in disrepair, we all pitch in to fix it. To do anything else would be a bit unchristian. But if Paul wants to see it through, I'm happy to go along with it. It makes me feel useful, you know? Speaking of, I better get back to work. Nice to chat with you, Magda. See you later, Jorg. Yeah, Jorg was never as strong a personality as his father, which on one hand is good. We do not want him to be more like his father. But, still. Could be a little stronger. Hello, Magdalene. How's the mural going? Hope my husband hasn't been bothering you about it too much. No, the council's left me to work for the most part. I think Oz has something to do with that. That boy has his eye on you, Magda. At least he's using his authority to do some good. Usually that lot just meddle around in things that are best left alone. Those men are bad influences on each other, if you ask me. Oh yeah? Now they're chattering on about a yearly check of the hinges on every door in town. Yeah, seems a little pedantic, to be honest with you. Hinges? Who gives a damn if the hinges on our front door creak? To be fair, okay, I don't think it's important, but this is what I believe, but come on, we gotta be a tinkerer, right? To be fair, if your hinges creak, the door's integrity is at stake. We've chosen the Redditor background. Actually, yes, well, I don't need to check every door in my house every year like it's a feast day. If there's a creaky hinge, I'll hear it. Anyway, I think it's good of you to be working on the mural. I wish Artemis and Apollo would take interest in something like that. Yeah, oh well. Speaking of, have you seen them around anywhere? I asked them to look after the chickens, but they've disappeared. I haven't seen them recently, but they like to mess around in the forest. Maybe they wandered off there? Ugh, this town isn't that big. I don't know where they get to that I can't find them. Seems like they're kind of troublemakers. Father Thomas says they're only so much trouble because I named them after Greek gods. Yeah, it's a pretty interesting naming convention, I have to say. I mean, they're striking names, but not very Christian, I have to say. He says those names have power, but I still like them. Besides, Apollo and Artemis were gods of virtues. Yeah, but they're pagan gods. You gotta be careful. If anything, they should be more well-behaved. I mean, Artemis and Apollo, you know, probably more common names in the 18th and 19th centuries than in the 16th century. Names only have as much power as we allow them to have. Can every Greek name really invoke pagan gods? Huh, maybe you're right. Father Thomas spends too much time in his books. Besides, then he'd be in a poor state. Father Thomas the Doubter. Ha. Anyway, I'd better go find those rascals. Good luck on the mural, Magdalene. Thanks, Veronica. Until later. I mean, I have to find those rascals as well, actually. Clara? My god, everyone's got something to say. Hello, Magdalene, dear. How are you? How's Klaus? Hard to say for certain. One day he seems well, and the next I can hardly understand his words. Oh, Magdalene. I'll keep praying for you both. The both of you deserve the best. Life's been hard enough for you already. Please let me know if you need any help around the house. I'd be happy to help. Thank you, Clara. It's very kind of you. I've been so busy in the Wrath House, I've let the house go a bit. Not to worry. I'll come by and help. That's kind. Besides, then we can chat, and chatter makes chores pass quickly. With all my children up and grown, and no husband to care for anymore, I've got to make myself useful somehow. Big Jorg is still in the house, though, isn't he? Oh, yes, but he's a grown man with children of his own. He and Veronica are capable of caring for their own household now. Abe is taking care of Otz, and Ursula and Fabian have their own life together. Yeah, right. My goodness. So, I mean, I know that this is our second episode as Magdalene, but still, I feel I'm still in that Andreas 1525 mindset. So much has changed. I'm still just getting used to seeing all these kids as fully grown adults. They don't need me anymore. You sound sad. Oh well, I suppose I am. I thank God that my children are all grown and prospering, but I do feel there's been something missing in my life. After so many years of tending to them and maintaining a home, I don't know what else to do. She's got empty nester syndrome. Even though her nest isn't actually empty. I mean, you spend your life caring for children and your family, and then they're gone, and what do you do? Especially when there's not so many options. I mean, you could always find something new to do. Keep busy by helping Gret in the bakery or something. Huh, Jorg has been telling me to rest more, but you're right. I mean, maybe I should have said rest. But there's a balance. I think rest is good. Rest is important throughout life, not just in old age. But also it's important to have things to do, things to keep you going, things to be invested in. So, find something to do. Don't let it take all your time. I'd rather keep busy as long as there's life left in these old bones. Well, that's settled. I'll come over to help around the house soon, alright? I'll see you then, Clara. God bless you, Magdalene. God bless you, too. Nothing happening up here. Alright, let's go talk to ill Peter, who's been ill for 30 years, and yet is still alive. Holy shit. Hello, Peter. Can I talk to you for a moment? What's that? I was wondering if you could tell me some stories about Tassing. Oh, the old tales, huh? It's been so damn long since anyone had a thought to ask me about what I know. But there's still a few of the old tales knocking about in this skull. Are there any myths from even before the Romans came to Tassing? Of course there are. The Romans weren't the first ones to live here, you know. There are spirits older than the saints that live in these woods, older than the Romans. They protected Tassing before St. Moritz ever set a blessed foot in town. But Father Thomas says that the only good spirit is the Holy Ghost. Everything else is of the devil. Huh. And if that were true, then Tassing wouldn't have been around for the Romans to take. It's Perkta and her wild hunt that scare them evil ones away. They've protected Tassing since its founding day. Peter, he's been going on about the same stuff for decades. Long before those Romans, our ancestors roamed these mountains under a great chieftain called Rhaetus. Wait, isn't Rhaetus a Latin name? Huh? The ending on his name is the masculine singular ending common on most male Roman names. Plenty of names with the same letters, and with the same letters. Doesn't make them Latin, does it? Now quit your yammering and listen. Here's the thing. I don't think anyone's interpretation of history is entirely clear. You sort of have to pick bits and pieces from each of the tales to try to find some semblance of the truth, and even then you're always dealing with people's different perspectives on things. Folks weren't as kind as they are now, and the tribes fought one another for the best land. The old chieftain was a yellow-bellied coward who neglected the old gods. He was too proud to make offerings. Because of him, the gods favored other tribes, and Rhaetus' people had no land to call their own. Instead, they wandered through these mountains and valleys, hunting and gathering what they could to survive. One day, when winter was approaching, Rhaetus went hunting and found a wounded wolf tangled in a trap. But instead of killing the beast, as most men would, he helped the beast and loosed it from its bounds. Was the wolf a spirit in disguise? Of course not. Wolves are wolves, girl. Spirits don't need the skins of animals for their power. Still, you've got the sense of the thing. Okay, I knew he'd like that. The old gods are keen to repay favors done, and Perkta is the goddess of the wild hunt. The wolves are her animals. She leads the wild hunt, and the wolves lead the hunts of the forest. The wolves were, of course, the animal of the Romans, too. Back in my day, folk knew it was bad luck to kill a wolf. Now I'm the only one who remembers these things. Perkta saw Ratus' action and took favor on him, and told the wolf to lead the chief to her sacred spring. Ratus led his people to the spring and claimed it for his homeland, and we've been living in this valley ever since. Then those goddamn Romans came and destroyed everything. But you see? Did they? I mean, look, the Romans did like to march around destroying things, but they also like to build things too. The Romans were, quite the builders. And in fact, you can see that from the Roman ruins in Tassing. There were other gods protecting this place before Saint Moritz. It's why a few of us still honor Perkta. She protects us against witches and fiends. Well, it's a wonderful story. Good, good. Nice to know I can still be of some use in this town. What about the Romans? Do you know any Roman legends of Tassing? Roman legends? Ha! I don't bother with stories from outsiders, or tales of gods that aren't our own. Wow. Peter's real old school. He thinks even the Romans they're too new. He only likes the pre-Roman stuff. The Romans did nothing but conquer our people and destroy this town. We spent generation after generation building Tassing back up from those days. I don't think that's true, Peter. And still, our traditions keep dying, with no one to carry them on. That's why I want to know, Peter. These stories need to be on the mural. The mural, Fine, fine. But I don't know any of the old Roman shit. Alright, alright. I have a lot to think about. Thank you for sharing your stories with me, Peter. At least someone wants to listen to me. I'm tired. Talking so much has made my jaw ache. I'll leave you to rest then. God bless you, Peter. I mean, that means the first time Andreas met Peter, he was a lot younger than I might have guessed, frankly. We'll continue our tour around the town. Hello, Magdalene. Hello, Hans. I hope your dad recovers quickly. He's a good man. Thank you. I'll tell him you said that. Good. This town has seen too many terrible things, but we've recovered before. Maybe the Lord will return your dad to health too. I pray you're right. Be glad you have this time with them, I say. Wish I'd had as much time with Heilwig. Anyway, I should get back to it. Until later. Hey. I don't need a full conversation with everybody. How's your dad doing? Resting. Suffered a severe blow to the head. Hans sends his regards. I know, I just talked to him. Thank you. I will. Class has been such a bedrock of Tassing. That is true. I'd hate for him to die. It'd be, sorry. It's fine. I fear it as well. It's best not to ignore one's fears. Do you miss your father? Your real one, I mean. Do I miss him? Kind of. I don't remember Joseph all that much. He's become a haze of sorts, a faint echo, a feeling, an occasional emotion. I was so young when he got killed. Mom said I had trouble understanding what happened for a long time. I understand. My mom. She's like an empty hole in my life. I have nothing of her. Yeah, you never even got to see her, right? Not a memory, huh? Suppose you have yourself for comparison. God molded you after her. I can imagine how she could have been like. Stubborn and unruly, yeah? Ha ha ha! Interesting. If that's what it takes, I don't see people of wealth and power giving the rest of us much headway. Guess not, but we know what happened 18 years ago. I can understand why the town council is careful. I don't know. I'm not smart like you, Magdalene. Anyway, the winter draws closer, so I got a lot of preparations to take care of. I truly hope class recovers soon. God look after you both. That's funny. Hello, Magdalene. How's the mural coming? I hear you browbeat the council into letting you do it yourself. they didn't have a chance against me once I'd set my mind to it. Ha! That's the spirit. It's good to see you standing strong against those stubborn bastards. God may have made man from dust, but I swear he left some of them with rocks for brains too. Did you know Jorg was by to check on my hinges? I've had enough of their silly projects. That Zimmerman boy seems to have a good head on his shoulders, though. I think he does. I've heard good things about him. People like him. He seems like a good fellow. His father was a great man. So, you know. Once you're settled down with him, you'll have a good life ahead of you. Oh, wow. I mean, we know that Magdalene's definitely a free spirit. The options we've been given so far is that she's not interested at all in marriage, or maybe when she finds the right person. I don't know. I think, honestly, especially in this time and place, if there's someone you like, and I think their relationship could be more than that, I think it's a good opportunity. So, you know, maybe, I think it's going to be our decision to make, but I think we can learn to love each other. Ha! You're a good-looking young woman, Magdalene. Won't take much to win his heart. Yeah, I think I've already won it. He's a good boy. You could do worse. Thanks, Hetty. I'll see you later. Until then, I know Magdalene's split between leaving the town and taking over the printing press, but given that we're controlling her, I would like her to take over the printing press once her father goes, which probably will be sooner than later. So, I think she's going to be anchored in this town anyway. I keep forgetting that Wojslav is here, which is crazy. So, hey, we still have someone here from the old abbey. And, of course, and Matilda. Not to mention, there are still a few people up at the convent. God bless you, Magdalene. Hello, Matilda. Hello, Wojslav. How are you two? Very well. The Lord has blessed us more than we deserve. And how are you, Magdalene? I was worried with you keeping the house and the workshop on your own. Let me bring by some soup for you and your father. You're very kind, Matilda. Thank you. Not at all, Magdalene. This is how Wojslav and I serve Tassing. Our vocation may have changed, but our gratitude to God and the town is not. You've always been... I mean, yeah, I imagine for Magdalene, it's got to be really hard to imagine that these two were ever up at the Abbey. I mean, frankly, I'm having a hard time putting the two together. Them at the Abbey and them here. It's so strange. You've always been so dedicated to the town. Your neighbors took care of us in difficult times. Ha! Sometimes those days feel like another lifetime. Yeah. A harder time to be sure. Were the Benedictines anything like the Poor Clares? We live simple lives of devotion, but not that simple. I'm given to understand they don't make art in the convent now. Such a shame in that beautiful workshop. In any case, a nun's vows include dedication to a simple life, with all the challenges that entails. But I struggled with my vows, my discipline. I couldn't live as my sisters did. I broke my vows, as did Wojslav. You fell in love. We did, wow. Well, I seduced her. You certainly did not. Interesting. I mean, we got a little hint back then. But it's nice to see it playing out in full fruition, and I'm glad that they seem to be happy. Are you telling young Magda here that you seduced me? Wojslav, please! She left the Abbey. Though no one learned of what we did, the matter ate at my heart. That, and being falsely accused of murdering the old Baron terrified you, and rightly so. Well, I mean, she wasn't really accused, to be fair. Remember, Andreas kept her name out of his mouth. I did not bring her up. We must all account for our sins, Magdalene. I was afraid I would account for mine sooner than I thought. Those were the hardest years of my life. I repented and prayed to God to absolve me. But the Lord always provides, even in the darkest days. The Abbey's destruction gave us a second chance. It must be strange to leave that life after so long. Huh. Well, I will admit, it's been strange not being able to enter the convent. I miss the sisters terribly some days, but truthfully, it's been a relief not to be constrained by my vows. The Lord forgives more readily than man, Magdalene. Never think that you must remain in a place that causes you to sin, even if others think it godly. Wise words. I'm glad you two are finally able to live life together. You both deserve it. Only by the grace of God are we in this life together. May it be many more years before we part. God willing. Anyway, Magdalene, I'll send that soup over to you shortly. Alright, thank you. God bless you, Magda. God bless. Well, things went pretty badly those 18 years ago, but I'm glad it worked out well for some people. Honestly, these two, they've done really well for themselves. And I'm glad they were able to, live their truth, as you might say today. Martin. Morning, Magdalene. How's Klaus? Enduring. Even when his speech is slurred, he keeps a cheerful heart. I don't know what life would be like without him. Klaus is a good man, Magdalene. Tassing is a better place thanks to him. True. He's one of the few in Tassing who hasn't been on my back all this time. Okay. What do you mean? Don't pretend like you haven't heard. Townsfolk have whispered shit about me for years. So what if I occasionally get into a few brawls? I'm an honest man. Okay, Martin. What's been going on with you? Okay? So, we met the real Martin all those years ago. He was a little shithead, but he was young. He went off, died, you came back. Magdalene doesn't know this, of course. Seemed to me like you turned around a new leaf and you were a good guy. But now I'm hearing, you know, maybe things aren't going so well. So what's happening? I wasn't involved with what happened to Otto Zimmerman. I supported his cause. I pulled my weight around here. Tilled the soil, salted the meats provided for Brigitte and Kraft. I've done enough back-breaking work for this family. Can't a man just have a goddamn rest? Why are you always getting into fights anyway? Sometimes an asshole just needs to get his teeth pounded in. Does beating the shit out of someone really solve a problem? Yeah, good question. Maybe. Don't want to solve problems, though. Don't have the patience anymore. Good enough. Okay, man. Just want what I'm owed. What are you owed? I'm not loving this attitude I'm getting from you, Martin. Right, I've lost enough time to this as it is. Time for you to go. I almost forgot. I'm trying to learn about the history of Tassing. I was told you could help. Me? What do I know about history? Mother Illuminata told me you borrowed a book of local history from Baron Rothvogel. Mother Illuminata? Oh, you mean one of the old nuns from the convent? Sure, a book. I might have taken it back then. He got no idea. That was a lifetime ago. Literally, it was a different lifetime. I can't remember the book or what I did with it. Those years are a blur. Probably threw it away somewhere, or left it at home. Wouldn't have been much for me to do with the book. I can't read. Too unique for me to have sold too. No one outside Tassing cares about its history anyway. Maybe I should ask Brigitte if she remembers anything about it. Sure, couldn't hurt. It was decades ago, but she's the one who remembers shit. Yeah, because you literally were not here. Thanks for the help, I guess. Uh-huh. There's nothing else. I've got work to do. Oh. Whoa, wait a minute. Does she know? Wait, does Magdalene know? How? Until later, Martin. Wait a minute, what is going on? Help me out here, Brigitte. Magdalene, how are you keeping? I'm eager to continue work on the mural. I have so much to do before Christmas. The right time of year, I was just thinking that, you know, we're coming up on Christmas right now. Maybe the two timelines will cross with my video upload schedule. I'm certain it will be the pride of Tassing when you're through. You've always had your mother's talent for art. Well, thank you. And how's your dad? You're one of the only people who ask how I'm doing before asking about my dad. I know how it is to be the sole caregiver. Yourself disappears behind the needs of the person you're looking after. I worry about you, carrying that weight alone. I remember when my dad fell. We cared for him best we could, but those few months before he passed were a tough time for everyone. But I believe God will pull your dad through, whatever the doctor says. We need him. God willing, you're right. I'm at his mercy. God willing, amen. Well, let's hope. Have you thought about what you'll do if your dad doesn't come through this? Well, I'd have to get married. You remember what happened to Attilia? That poor woman. But you were a good girl, Magda. There are any number of families in Tassing who'd be happy to take you. Have you seen someone... Oh, you have someone in mind, don't you? You must mean us. He's about as subtle as his father, God rest Otto's soul. Look, I mean, you know, Magdalene, she's right. After her father dies, she'll probably have to get married. Especially if she wants to take over his responsibilities, right, of running the printing press. And Ott seems like a good guy. I don't know why I'm, like, defending myself, but it's just my opinion. And hopefully he grows up to be the man his father was. That'd be something. I wish I'd got to meet him. Properly, I mean. He made an impression, that's for certain. The girls around town knew better than to moon after him, though that didn't stop some of us. He was Ava's from the start. As Otts appears to be yours, huh? But if nothing ever comes of that, know that you're always welcome in my family, Magda. Crafts, a nice hard-working boy. No thanks. He's got a sharp mind. He can provide for a family. Are you trying to set me up with your son? Can you blame a mother for trying? No, I can't blame you. You're a good, respectable girl, Magda. Any family would be lucky to have as a daughter. I don't mean to be rude, but I'd prefer to decide in my own time. Alright, I'll let it lie. You know, not every marriage may start off on solid footing. I like Otts more than craft. But if you pray and work and trust in the Lord, you can find it in time. Believe me. I mean, not every marriage works out, but I'm hoping that we can get Magdalene a marriage that's good from the start, rather than one she has to slowly make work over decades. Yeah, you're not... If it's not working out, how can you be sure a couple belongs together? God knows. He brings people together for a purpose. And remember, divorce was exceedingly uncommon during this time. You're, especially as a regular person, there's almost no shot you're getting a divorce. So whoever you marry, you're gonna be with them, unless they die. Or, you know, your husband leaves town and then gets replaced by another guy. We don't need to understand it, only to have faith in Providence. In any case, I should get back to the chores. Remember what I said. Whatever happens, you're always welcome in my home. Yeah, I mean, also the other benefit with Otts is I quite like his family. Ava's great. She's awesome. You know, Till seems like a good guy. You know, his family's pretty good generally. No offense, Brigitte. I don't really want to have to hang around with Martin at family gatherings. That's the other part of this. Before I forget, I actually had a question about an old book. Martin's supposed to have stolen it from that baron who was killed years ago. Do you know what happened to it? Oh. I hope this doesn't get me into any trouble. But I still have it! Hidden in a drawer. You still have it? Martin left it behind when he ran off. He went to all the trouble to take it, but didn't bring it. Martin was a thief, but he wasn't stupid. I'm sure he realized no one would believe he'd come by the book honestly, so he couldn't sell it. Why'd you keep it? I can't believe you still have it. I'll say, I think the original Martin was probably more intelligent than current Martin, but current Martin knows better how to keep his head down. What was I supposed to do? The Baron was killed soon after, and there I was, holding his stolen book. I didn't want Martin to get in any more trouble than he was already in. I never read it, though. I don't read well. Can I have it? I don't know. I need to reference it for the mural. Won't everyone wonder where you got the ideas? I've been talking to people all over town. They'll think I get the ideas from them. Oh, alright. I didn't think that was gonna work. I like to have nothing more to do with it, to be frank. It reminds me of difficult times. A stolen book of a dead nobleman in our home. Perhaps it spoiled our milk and turned our eggs all these years. Here you are. Please don't tell anyone I had this. Ah, Historia Tassii. I honestly can't believe it. We went through so fucking much those years ago to try and get this book. And it was here this whole time. I wonder if I could have, could I have found it with Andreas? I don't think so. Maybe. Oh, it's in Latin. I can understand a few words and phrases. I'll take a closer look in the evening. Thank you, Brigida. You've been a big help. Of course, Magda. Be well now. God bless. You too, Brigida. Until later. I cannot believe. Wow, we've got, like, a ton of different sources of history here. And there's still more to find, even. Hello, odds. Alright, let's go and try and find Ulrika. Rezi! I'm not sure we've talked to her before. Hello, Mistress Druckerin. How's Klaus? Andrus and I have been terribly worried. Dad's spirits are high, but he still gets headaches and spells of dizziness. If there's anything we can help you with, let us know. Andrus is always ready to provide. He and Klaus have been friends for a long time. My thanks to you both. We're certainly grateful. I will say, this is when this type of community was, you know, really came in handy. Right? This type of community where people are really bound together in almost a pre-modern sense, through familial ties, friendships, what they might call Christian charity, that when you fell in hard times, yeah, there was no state to step in, but you had the people around you, perhaps the church, right? People would lift you up. I think that's the type of community a lot of people lack today in our world. It's the least we can do. My sweetie rather admires Klaus. If you don't mind, you weren't born in Tassing, am I right? No, I'm originally from Innsbruck. How did you arrive here? The twists of Providence are sudden and unpredictable. Yeah, that's right. I was but a young girl selling all manner of wares on the market, pots and the like. One day, this man appears to the stall, all jitters and nerves, stammering over his words, but charming, in a way. We spoke at length. I was intrigued and soon enamored, as if a candle had been lit. Andrus is a man of talent and means. After all, blessed with a kind soul. Yeah, I mean, Andrus was always a good guy. That's what I thought as Andreas. I was like, Andrus, you're quite a match. You know, you've got to find somebody. This is something I know for a fact, because we got an achievement. Something that could have been different if we'd acted differently. We could have gotten to this point. Well, I guess I don't know how it would have been different, but I imagine we could have gotten to this point with Andrus not finding a match. And I know that Andreas encouraging him led to this directly. How did it feel to leave home for someone, somewhere far away, uprooting yourself from the life you had? Frightening, to be sure, leaving Innsbruck, my friends and family behind. But it was exciting as well, going off to find new opportunities and build a new life. There wasn't much I had to look forward to in Innsbruck. Few prospects for a poor girl. I couldn't see myself sitting at the market, continuing to sell odds and ends. Sometimes there are risks we just have to take. Yeah, sure, you don't know, but I don't know. I'm not sure it's that helpful to think about your life in that way. Well, what might have happened had I done that? Well, you didn't do that. All we can do is use the information we have to make what feel like the best decisions in the moment, and then live with them. So I find that quite inspiring. I'm glad you found happiness here. We all struggle in this world, but the moments of joy outweigh the bad. It's how God has set the world, his benevolence guiding us through it all. I feel I've been blessed, and it's not been all bad for Endress either. I assist him with the bookkeeping side of the smithy and other things. So thank you for telling me about your past. It's nothing, Magdalene. I hope it has provided you with some encouragement. It has. Don't forget you're important as well, and deserve to live your life. Alright, I have to assist Endress with a few things. Be well, Magdalene. Until later. Therese! Oh, that's her name. I mean, I do think it's a sweet story. Oh, there she is. Not in part because we, through Andreas, played a big role in making it happen. I can see you, Ulrika. Aha! There you are! Huh, you found me. Bet you can't find me again, Mag. Oh, not again. Okay. How much hide and seek do we have to play? Aw. Oh yeah, craft. So is your father gone? Or... whose son are you? I'm forgetting now. Never mind. You married into Lucky's family, is that right? Am I getting that right? Is Lucky Steinauer gone? Hello, Gret. Gret's always been a friend. Magdalene, darling. Good morning, Gret. Smells heavenly in here. Oh, I've just finished rolling out some raisin bread. I thought that Andreas, it's, you know, kind of almost shocking to see Andreas. And Ulrika could use a treat today. Oh, what a sweet idea. I had some spare time today, and I like to stay busy. The soul of the diligent shall be made rich after all. Besides, I like to drop in on Anna and see my grandchildren. I'm more blessed than I ever imagined I would be. Paul and Anna make such a lovely pair. Yeah, they're a good pair. They really are. Ulrich wouldn't believe his eyes if he saw us now. I wish he could see his grandchildren. Yeah, that's the sad part of Ulrich. He was a good guy as well. He really was. He was a believer in the cause, but tended to be a moderating voice. Honestly, things have gone really well for Gret, apart from that tragedy, which truly is tragic. But, you know, she's got Paul here, Anna, the grandkids. Yeah, it's pretty good. Wow, you know what? I legit had not thought of that. Your daughter married the son of the man who killed your husband. I mean, I knew that, but I hadn't thought of it in that way. But to be fair, I'm pretty sure by the end, Paul hated his father. So, you know. I'm sure he's rejoicing with all the saints in heaven, Gret. I do hope so. He was never much for emotional displays, but I still remember his joy when Anna was born. You know, I was angry when Anna first took a liking to young Paul. Yeah, I can imagine why. He was always a quiet boy, but I was afraid he'd turn out like his father. Well, I needn't have worried. Paul is a good man and a good father. He's built this town back up from what it was. And Elsa dotes on the children more than I do. She's certainly come a long way from the meek woman I met. Well, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Yeah, Lenhart was really holding that whole family back. He was a real piece of shit. Paul was a good kid, and Elsa was always way too good for her husband. Yeah. Have you seen Ulrika? Elsa sent me to look for her. We're playing hide and seek. Ha! Well, I may have heard some giggling on the north side of the Commons a little while ago, but I won't go spoiling her fun. Ah, I've been chatting too long. My does need tending. Please excuse me, Magdalene. Of course, Gret. Until later. What a lovely... Hey, I mean, there was a lot of tragedy 18 years back. And some things are still bad, but a lot of things have turned out nicely for the people in town, I have to say. Oh my goodness. Look at the Wrath House. Oh, Ulrika, there you are. Got you. Oh, you found me again. Wait here. I'll find a better spot. Not again. How long is this hide-and-seek game going to last? Wrath House is the biggest building in Tassing. Baltus's clock took ages to build in place. Oh, so that's Baltus. Oh, okay. And that is what we see when time is passing in Magdalene's life. I'm going to come back and talk to all these people later, because everyone's got something to say. But for the moment, I'd like to try and wrap up this game of hide-and-seek. If I can. Where would she be? There she is. I see you. You can't hide from me, little bean. You're too good, Mag. I'll go and find Mom now. Alright, there we go. Alright, that was the last quest I was going to do before I wrapped up this episode. You know, we didn't actually achieve much of anything. Well, that's not true. We did talk to some people about the stories of the town's history. But, you know, everyone had something to say to us, which is fair. It's been good to explore the town, see how everybody's doing, catch up on everybody, since we saw them last 18 years ago. So next time, we're gonna wrap up, you know, making our way around town, talking to everybody. We've got a couple of leads to follow on the history of the town. Gotta talk to Baltus, talk to Apollo and Artemis, investigate the salt mine, the old ruins. I mean, there's a lot to do. So thank you, everybody, for watching. If you enjoyed this one, feel free to leave a like on the video or subscribe to my channel. I do really appreciate it. I hope you all are having a fantastic day today, and I will see you all again next time. Goodbye.